Let's play with some old Weiser locks. Let's rekey. We got 2 of them to rekey. 3 of them actually. Let's pin them up. First things first, up here, you got to hit that little like button if you would. The middle one, make sure you comment, and also make sure you follow me. I'm on my way to 50,000 followers. Let's do this. First things first, let's remove that tail cap with this cool little tool. Spin that guy off. Here's the most important part right here. See that little pin? And below that little pin is this tiny little spring. Right there you go. And this is what keeps the tail cap on. You lose this, that pin will just fall down, that tail cap will just come unscrewed, and bad things happen from there. As always, when we have the key, let's go ahead and remove this. And what we're doing is we are going to pin it up to this key. They don't want this key to work anymore. These are the pins that we're working on. You can see as we move things in and out. This makes that nice flat shear line. That's why this key will work. When we put in the wrong key, these pins go up into the top of this lock. Or the pins in the lock fall down into this. That's why this won't work, but we're going to fix that problem. People ask me all the time, how do I know what pins to make or put in? At the end of the day, we have to make this a flat line, right? This has to be a flat line. So you can see the pins in the middle are going to be longer than that pin or that pin. See how small of a cut that is? Then it gets really deep. So we need to find out what pins we need to put in there. We then go through my pinning kit, which we have right here. They go all the way from crazy small all the way to really big. And what we do is we have a chart right here that tells us. We're using a Weiser, so this tells us right here, if we have a number 1 cut, we would change the bottom pin to a 186. If we have a number 5 cut, we'd change that bottom pin to a 258. That is how we know. And I can gauge the key with this little key gauge. I put it in there like so, and it tells me what the depth of that cut is, if I don't know it by sight already. Most of these keys I can just look at and tell you the cut, like a 13553, and that's what we're going to try. I put the key inside, and I want to put in a number 1 pin, and I put the key inside so I can tell right off the bat, is that flat? Yes, it is. So we know that that's going to be. Let's try the next one. Here's a number 3. All right, that pin works really good. Let's see what we got here. That one works really good. And see what we got here. That one works really good. What's our last one? Looks like that's going to be a 2. Let's grab a number 2 pin and let's see. Whammo! All that's perfectly flat. Now, if we did everything right, when we put this in, none of those pins are going to hit. When we put this in, and this key should work. Let's pull it out real quick. And it works just like that. We reverse the process, right? We put in that tiny little spring. Wipe off this pin. Make sure it's flexible, which it is. And let's put on that tail cap just like that. Tighten it up, back it off, usually 2. Make sure your pin locks in right there. And let's retry this just to make sure we didn't over tighten anything and it works like a champ. So that was the deadbolt. Let's do the doorknob. Weiser. If you're a locksmith that doesn't play with these very often, these are almost impossible for you to open if you don't know how. But I'm going to show you. Notice we typically go through the back, right? I see these every day, and some people probably will never see these. But anyway, you pull back on that spindle. Pull that out. Insert that key, and you're going to turn it to about 4 o'clock. As you start to turn, start pulling out now. And whammo, when you get to that area, don't let go of that spindle because it's spring-loaded. And that thing will just fly across the room. And now we got the plug out. We got the lock body out. So let's pull that plug out. Just like in my other videos, we got to pull that clip. Grab a hold of that clip. Do not let go of it until it, just like that. it disappears. So that is worst case scenario, right? What I'm telling you not to do, it just popped through my fingers. You want to see how lucky I just got? Look at that. Unbelievable lucky. And I had my fingers on it and it shot out. This thing is small. This thing will hit the wall in your van and it disappears, and now this lock will not work because the plug will now come right out of the lock body. Watch. When I turn this, there is nothing now holding this plug in there. Boom. As you try to pull that key out, that's what would have happened. This whole thing would have come out. All your springs and things would have been everywhere as well. This is going to pin up just like the other one. Same pins. There's a 1. That one looks like a number 3. Let's find out. I already forgot the numbers. These look like a 6 and a 6. And that one looks like a number 2, the very last one. Let's throw in a number 2 and see. We got it right. Let's put this guy back in. And sometimes these work right now, sometimes they don't, because this plug has the ability to move. All right, so we're going to put this clip back on. Remember the one that just tried to leave the building? We are now going to put this back on. So what I do is I hold it right here. All 3 fingers, right? 2 there, 1 on the back. So try not to let this thing go anywhere, because as you just seen a second ago, what I was warning you of, it happened. There we go. Now we got the clip on. Now let's try this lock. Whammo! This lock right here is about 50 years old. I'm going to reverse the process to put this on. Very, very important steps right here. Pull that. Okay, sorry. Phone ring. So, very important. Pull that spindle. We're going to put this in at the 12 o'clock position, the key. And now we're starting to push in as we turn. And you're going to get to a spot where, like that, it locks in. Keep it pushed, keep the spindle out. You're going to turn this back to 12 o'clock. Now release the spindle. Now the key will only turn from 12 to about 1:30 or so. All right? And now we got a working Weiser lock. I appreciate you guys watching. We just did a Weiser old doorknob, old deadbolt. Again, give me your comments. Tell me if you like these. Have you seen these things? It's amazing that these are plastic inside, and almost 50 years later, they're still working perfect. Why is today's plastics not working like them old-time plastics? What do you think the problem is? Right there in the comments. Follow me. Very important. I'm on my way to 50,000. Like this video.